Hello everybody, this is Tim here again, here with another video. This time I figured I'd do some revisiting of movies that I reviewed way back in the day when I did a marathon of the Ernest flicks. And this time I figured, you know what the heck, let's revisit some old faithful ones and some movies that my opinions have kind of changed about slightly or a lot. But those two movies are Ernest Goes to Jail and Slam Dunk Ernest. Now, anyone who doesn't know Ernest stars Jim Varney. If you haven't seen my other reviews of the Ernest flicks, I suggest you go check them out because I've rewatched them recently, and these are the only two that my opinions have really changed on. And one for the better, and one just kind of slightly. Just to start off, I'd say Slam Dunk Ernest. Slam Dunk Ernest stars Jim Varney, who also did the voice of Slinky. Sadly, he's no longer with us. He died from cancer, which is really sad. I think there was actually like 6 Ernest scripts in development at the time before he passed. They were actually going to do Ernest in Space, or Ernest Goes to Space. I would have loved to have seen Ernest meet aliens. That would have been my dream come true right there. But yeah. Slam Dunk Ernest, pretty much he gets magic shoes to play basketball. Pretty much when I did the review for this back in the day, I kind of hated this flick. Watching it now, I don't hate it. I think I may have given it like a 1.5. Watching it now, I'd give it a low 2 stars. It's a passable flick. I think it's a passable flick. It is one of the weaker Ernest films. It's not terrible. But out of all the Ernest flicks I've seen, this is my least favorite. It's not terrible. I just find it kind of passable. It has a really cheesy moral in it. This is the one that's also the most of a kid's movie. It has a really cheesy moral in it about looking up to your dad and everything from this little boy in the film. And listening to the right people and all that. And it's handled okay. But it's kind of cheesy. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has a cameo in it as the archangel of basketball who gives Ernest the magic shoes to help him play basketball. Interesting idea. Definitely the most kiddified of the Ernest flicks because of, well, magic shoes, which is actually, they do kind of a neat job with them in the flick. I would actually have kind of liked them to push it a little bit more. Miguel Nunez is in the film as one of the Ernest's basketball team members. There are some really funny moments, though, still, like the magic shoes are kind of neat for kids, from a kid's movie perspective. And it's an idea that's been done later and stuff like Mike and all that, which pretty much ripped off this flick. But yeah, seeing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar there is nice. And the fact they're actually trying to give a moral about not stealing and stuff like that, and looking up to your dad and everything, and hard work will pay off. And not to let money consume you and stuff like that is all kind of neat in the flick. And it's cool having that to be like a lesson for the kid to learn. Yeah, all in all, it's a passable movie. I don't hate it like I used to. It's just kind of there. It's a time waster. I can watch it as a time waster. Now for the other one is Ernest Goes to Jail. Back when I reviewed this one, I gave this one a passable rating. Now I would change my low 2-star rating to, honestly, 4 stars. 4 out of 4. Watching this again, I'm not sure why I didn't like it that much the first time I saw it and reviewed it. Watching it now, I thought it was a great B movie. And it is a B movie. Some of the special effects at the end when Ernest gets like magnetized and he's flying and everything are bad. And some of them are good. But it adds to the B-movie quality. And the fact that he gets superpowers when he gets electrocuted is very silly. And at the end when he gets blown up and survives the explosion, only to fall on the evil version of himself and save the day, very B-movie-ish. Definitely a B-movie, but a great, fun B-movie. Pretty much you got Ernest and an evil Ernest, and just probably Jim Varney's best acting of the franchise, where he plays Ernest and Nash. I just love it. I love him as Nash in this, as the evil Ernest. It's hilarious. This big-time gangster switches places with Ernest and friggin' takes over Ernest's life while Ernest is in jail. The comedy in the film is hit or miss, but when it's good, it is funny. But when it's stale, it's never really bad. It's just kind of like a meh, or a passable. But it's not horrible. But when it's funny, it is funny. And the side characters of Chuck and Bobby are also really funny. How they're like these military extremist type dudes. And they always take everything to the max. They make like this energy force field thing or whatever in the bank as security. And they want to show the bank manager and it falls on him. It's pretty funny. And they got like a minefield in front of their house. But yeah, all in all, I had a great time with this one. Honestly, I would say this is my second favorite Ernest film now. after Ernest Saves Christmas, Goes to Jail would be my number 2 now. Just from the pure fun of seeing Varney as Nash and Ernest. Any kind of hit or miss comedy problems I have with the flick, once it gets to the ending, the climax, when it's Ernest fighting Nash, is actually done really well, other than some bad opticals with the flying every now and then, due to the budget, of course, being a low-budget film. Other than that, the actual fight was handled really well, and it really felt like, because of Jim Varney's acting and the way it was shot, that it really was 2 different people. Even though they were both played by Jim Varney, he did a really good job. Yeah, honestly, the best acting in the flick is Jim Varney. He did a great job. Which he's always the best thing about the Ernest films, though. I would like to watch the Beverly Hillbillies reboot again. I haven't seen that in forever, where he plays Jed Clampett. I want to give that another watch. I haven't seen that in a long time. But yeah, all in all, Ernest Goes to Jail is honestly my second favorite after Ernest Saves Christmas. Ernest Saves Christmas is still my number 1. I love that one. Ernest Goes to Jail would be number 2. After that, I would say Ernest Rides Again would be number 3. Now, this is not counting Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, which Ernest was just like a cameo in. I don't really count that as an Ernest film, even though I reviewed it in my Ernest marathon. But yeah, bug. I'm in my car in the middle of the night here. But yeah, not counting Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, I say Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Goes to Jail at a strong number 2. Then Ernest Rides Again, which a lot of people don't like, but I actually thought was pretty good. As a buddy flick between Ernest and his history professor, like trying to find the crown jewels. I enjoyed that. After that, after Ernest Rides Again, honestly, Ernest Goes to Africa. I actually had fun with Ernest Goes to Africa. I just liked the idea of Ernest in a different environment. And I found it mostly amusing seeing him in a different environment, like shooting ostrich eggs in a bra and shit. It was pretty funny. It's not a great movie, but I found it to be a good family adventure flick. After Ernest in Africa, I'd probably put Ernest Goes, either Ernest Goes to Camp or Ernest Scared Stupid. That's a tough one. I'd say Ernest Goes to Camp. I like Ernest Goes to Camp better than Ernest Scared Stupid. Yeah, Ernest Goes to Camp, which I thought was alright, and then Ernest Scared Stupid, which I also thought was alright. I enjoy both those. I like both of them. They're both alright films. Then after those two, Ernest in the Army, which I also thought was another alright one. A lot of people don't like Ernest in the Army. Honestly, I thought it was alright. Once again, just like Ernest in Africa, I just like seeing Ernest in like different settings and environments and stuff like that. I don't know. I just kind of got a soft spot for that idea of like just putting him in different places. That's why I would have liked to have seen like Ernest Goes to Space. Yeah, I thought it was alright. And I like the ending of the film where the last line of the movie is like, stick by your buddy. That seems like a sweet way for the Ernest movies to go out for being Jim Varney's like last Ernest film. I thought it was alright. And then in the last place, Slam Dunk Ernest, which I only find to be a passable film. Just too kiddified for me. I do enjoy the film as a time waster. I can watch it. But it's nothing I would want to see again unless I was having an Ernest marathon. But it's passable. It's the there movie of like kind of like the Ernest films. For me. Now, I kind of hope they do a future Ernest film. Yes, Jim Varney passed away and nobody will ever be able to do the role as good as he could. Or did, I mean. But I wouldn't want to see like a Son of Ernest type thing. I would rather see Ernest like treated like James Bond. Where like, Jim Varney will always be considered the best one. Like how Sean Connery's the favorite Bond by a lot of people. But, everybody likes Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig too, pretty much. So we could just like get a new guy who looks the part, looks a lot like Jim Varney, and just takes over the role and just does numerous other Ernest movies. Kind of hitting a lot of the same beats as Jim Varney did, but adding a little bit of his own comedic flavor to it, to give it a slightly different taste for the modern generation. But yeah, if they can figure out how to mesh that well, I would love a new Ernest series with a new actor. And I think Jim Varney would probably want the character to live on. So, sorry about that. Hold on just a second. My light went out in my vehicle there. But yeah, I think Jim Varney would want the character to live on. And I would just rather see that than a Son of Ernest type thing. But yeah, that's just me and my thoughts on pretty much the Ernest franchise, really. But really, I only wanted to really mainly talk about the two films I came here to re-review pretty much. Slam Dunk Ernest and Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Goes to Jail I really enjoy now because I really appreciate the acting by Jim Varney as Nash and Ernest. Slam Dunk Ernest, I still don't really like it, but I don't mind it now. It's just there. Passable film. So I'll see you guys again with the next review.